Marielle. Welcome to our Savant cast. I'm really excited because today we have Randi Levin. She's a transitional life strategist. She's actually been a member of Lady Savant for a little bit over a year, and we were just talking the other day how excited we are for you because we've just seen you grow and blossom and help so many women out, and really just the work that you are doing out there in the community and in the lives of all these women. It's just really inspiring and amazing. And I think that, the whole idea of reinventing our life is one of those things that you don't really think about until something is wrong in your life or something you feel like there's something more. So why don't we start out by you telling us a little bit about your own reinvention?
There you go. Well, I do what I do because I do what I do. So basically, I had gotten to a point in my life where I was a little stuck. Mm-hmm. You know, I knew there was something else. I knew that there was another chapter that was clearly about me. My kids had grown up. I had been a stay-at-home mom. I had been in corporate America before that. And I couldn't figure out what that next was. And I was kind of toying around with things, and stuff was happening. I was starting to lose weight and working out more and more health conscious. All these little red flags of, okay, she's ready. But I didn't even realize it. And then what really happened is I just asked myself one question. And that question was, what would I do if it were 10 years ago? And when I was able to answer that question, I was able to connect back to really me and figure out what that was. And I knew that my answer was very simple. I said, oh, well, I'll go back to school and I'll get my MSW. Okay, was it my MSW I want? So it's kind of like that cotton candy, fluffy cotton candy. And I started to pull apart the pieces of it. Well, was it the MSW? Was it something else? Did I want my own business? Did I want to be able to change people's lives? Did I want to be able to have legacy? Right. Did I want it to be demographically sound, whatever I was choosing? And when I was able to pull apart all those pieces, kind of like taking a jigsaw puzzle, throwing it down on top of a table, and all these pieces, they're all part of who you are. But which ones are standing out, and how do you connect them? And that's the difference. And I was able to connect back to what I was looking for next. And when I figured out it was coaching, I started to research that more and more, and it just all came together. So kind of at the intersection of what I love and this chapter in my life right at the same time.
That's amazing. How do you think, how does somebody know, how does a woman know when she is ready to reinvent her life? What are some of the signs?
You're stuck. That's one of the biggest signs, is that you kind of lose your luster a little bit. You get up in the morning and you're not really sure what you want to be doing. A lot of indecision, doing the same old thing and not necessarily being happy doing that. Right. And then there's some changes, like I said, that kind of subtly happen for some people. It's like you all of a sudden start to have an interest in something else. So kind of be mindful of those little things. And it's usually something around your health. You're a little more mindful of what you're eating, how you're eating, how you want to go about doing something, what's working, what isn't.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that definitely happens. And it also happens for people, I believe, like at different times in their life. And one of my favorite quotes from you is, you always say that we are not the same woman at 30 that we are at 40 or 50 or 60.
Exactly. We make these decisions. We all do. Men and women make all these great decisions when we're like 20 or 22 coming out of college.
Right.
It's forever. I studied this, I'm going to be that. I went to law school, I'm going to be a lawyer.
Right.
And then you don't like being a lawyer, or you don't like that when you're 40 because you're not the same person at 40 that you were at 22. And you're not supposed to be. So we have all these opportunities, living longer, healthier lives, and we have all this opportunity to say what's next and to reinvent ourselves over and over again in multiple ways, not just a career methodology to that, certainly, but in relationships, in how we proceed through the things we do. Because we've done it one way doesn't mean that's the only way we can do it. There's always more than one route. So I always talk about getting in your car and programming your GPS. And if you programmed in, I don't know, where would your car take you to? So the same thing is true that you have a personal GPS. And so there's always more than one route to get to a destination. More than likely, there's a back road, there's a highway, there may be a series of back roads.
Absolutely.
And there's a reason for that, because there's more than one way to get through certain things in your life.
Absolutely. Well, now that we're on the topic of the GPS, you actually, you actually have a program within your practice that's called GPS. Can you tell us a little bit about what GPS means?
GPS is an acronym that I use that really stands for our ability to look at how we program out, almost like how we drive our car, our lives a little bit. So the G stands for growth. People think it stands for goals, but it doesn't. We need to have that goal, but we also need to be able to measure every step along the way in the process, because we forget about the process and then we never get there because we shut ourselves down and something doesn't work or doesn't happen and we forget to celebrate it. So it's really about the growth and measuring that growth. And the second piece is the P, which stands for a lot of things. Purpose, time to pivot, really discovering why you want what you want and reconnecting to what your why is. And you may do that multiple times in your life. Again, who you are at 25 should not be the same person you are at 60. And what appeals to you at one time, in your relationships, in your friendships, in your business, could be and should be on many levels different. And so we look at that as an opportunity to continue to move toward what our purpose is, and that changes, it pivots. Also stands for pause, because we need to sometimes stop in what we're doing long enough to evaluate what's next. And then the S stands for those success steps, and they're individual success steps. There's no one okay, Randi's going to come up with, here's the success steps, take them and move forward. They're yours. They're the things that you're going to do and how you're going to do them to move into whatever's next in your life. So
that's awesome.
What it is.
Yeah, and so I love that. I love that you talked about purpose a little bit, because I feel like as women, as human beings in general, we all crave internally for purpose. And I think that one of the things that when we're evaluating whether we're going to reinvent our life in any area of our life, we really want to discover what that true purpose is, right?
Right. And you know what? It also very much involves balance. We all want this balance in our lives.
Right.
But you know what? As we change and as we pivot, the things that balanced and worked for us last year may not be the same things that work for us this year.
Right.
And we need to be mindful of that. We need to be able to look back in and say, okay, well now this changed, so that has to change too.
Right.
It can't be we change this and that stays there.
Right. Absolutely.
So finding purpose is also about finding what's new in your balance and how to rework that so it works for you now.
Right. And really being able to be in tune, I think, with yourself, with ourselves, because like you said, I personally feel like there's not one single purpose for everyone. There's multiple purposes in our lives, and there's multiple passions that we develop throughout our lives. Do you believe that? First, let me back up and ask you this: what is one good strategy that you recommend to your clients in finding their purpose? Like, what is that one thing that you say?
There's one thing I say all the time, and that's listen to your life. And people don't always know what I'm talking about when I say that, but it is literally listening to your life. Our lives tell us different things at different moments.
Yeah.
Part of it's intuition, part of it's actually being mindful of what's going on around you, what's going on in your family. What, happened, right before you got to that traffic light. Was there an accident? What happened at work that, shifted just a little bit? Sure. We ignore these things. We're so busy. We go through our days and we wander around and we just kind of wake up the next day and repeat, and we don't really hear what's going on. But if you start to connect those pieces, start to really listen to what's going on, you get a whole different feeling, a whole different vibe, a whole different agenda almost of what could be next, what the possibilities are. Is this the right time for something? Because that's often the thing that people say, oh, I can't do this now because my kids need me, my mom needs me, my husband said no, we don't have enough money, we're going to move, we're going to this, we're going to that. And so we put everything on hold. And then things don't happen. And then we beat ourselves up that they didn't happen. So we kind of have to listen to what's going on and make, educated decisions based on that in real time, not what we think it could be or what it was yesterday, but really what's going on now. And that changes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I mean, I think that's totally in line with what a lot of our audience is going through right now. I mean, I know so many women that are going through leaving corporate America, transitioning from corporate America to transitioning into entrepreneurship, or maybe some of them have been mothers for the last 5 or 6 years, and now they're looking to get back into something that they love, or maybe they're empty nesters. So at every point in our life, I feel like we're constantly reinventing ourselves.
We are. Relationship-wise too. Divorce, unfortunately, is 50% of all marriages.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
That's a real wake up to relationships of change and what you've known and stepping into what you don't know, or what's different from 20 years ago when you were out on your own. So there's a lot of that as well, and the same thing's true in friendships. Like, we don't stop to evaluate that, but our friends from when we were 20 may not be our same friends when we're 40. Our friends pre-divorce may not be the same friends after divorce. Our friends, when we move from one place to the other, alter. When we become parents, that shifts, and we tend to become friends with the parents of our children's friends. And so there's all these different movements at different chapters of our lives, and it's not static.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Well, Randi, I hope this is not going to be the last time that you're going to join us, because I could probably talk to you about reinvention and so many different aspects, about reinvention. I do have actually one last question that I want to ask you. Do you feel that women reinvent themselves more than men, or have you ever been asked that before?
I have been asked that before, and as a woman, I'm going to have to say yes. I think that men do reinvent themselves, very definitely. But I think women are more cognizant of it. I think we're more welcoming to it.
Why is that?
Well, I think that as parents, we take on a different role too. So I think if we go through that and we're a mom, not that dads don't take on this major role, of course they do. But often you're giving a lot, nurturing to others. It kind of goes with the territory, not just of mothers, but women in general. We tend to be nurturers. And I think with that, we tend to give to others a lot, and we don't take for ourselves. And we get to a point at some point that we say, hey, wait a minute, those little people are not little anymore. They've grown up. What have I done for me? How am I taking care of myself? And unless you are able to find the things that give you light and joy and passion, and take care of yourself on the day-to-day with the exercise and the diet, and factoring in the things that you really want to do, then you're not there for everybody else. So I think that we're more in tune with that as people.
Right.
We tend to be more open to those changes, and
I knew it
anyway.
I knew it.
Men, they go through the midlife crisis too, and things do shift. When they realize, oh my gosh, I'm 45. Is this it? Is this all there is? I need to get a red sports car now. So it's a little bit different on some levels. I think for men too, I think you see divorce and maybe affairs coming up more as kind of being that midlife crisis, and kind of a reach out of, okay, I'm not quite sure I like who I am now, so who do I want to be? And so they change something. They don't know what to change.
Right.
So I think that for women, it's a little more pronounced as a goal, as something that we're setting out and saying, okay, well, this isn't working. What's next? What can I make work?
Right. That makes a lot of sense. That makes a ton of sense. And Randi, so tell us, what is next for you? I know that you have a million projects.
Yeah, there's always something next for me. Get results. This book came out this year in 2016, and it's an anthology series of which I co-authored a chapter with 18 other authors. And it's really all about all of us writing about different ways that we've gotten results, either personally or professionally, or ways that we help others to get results in their lives. I'm also working on another book for 2017, and a virtual group coaching program that's going to launch next year, which I'm really excited about, which will be anchored in that GPS philosophy and all about reinvention. So
that is so exciting. And like I said, it's just so exciting to see you you know, grow your practice. And I mean, it's only been 1.5 years. I mean, I thought it was actually longer. A little while ago, I was like, well, I think we've known you for about 3 years because you've just grown so much. And it's so exciting and rewarding to see someone really blossom that way. What's one tip that you would give a coach, somebody that is in that line of business?
To another coach?
Mm-hmm.
For what? For reinventing?
To grow their practice.
Oh, to grow practice? Listen to your life. It's the same thing. You know, figure out where you're at, what really gives you the most passion. And I also talk a lot about legacy. Mm-hmm. And we think about legacy as something that happens when we're gone. You know, we leave it behind.
Right.
But I kind of challenge you, and I challenge everyone, every lady savant out there, think about what your legacy is in current time. Because we have the ability, the possibility, the opportunity to create legacy every single day, starting now. Mm-hmm. What do you want your story to be? And if you can define that, you can move toward it.
That's true. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much for being here with us today, and thank you so much for the amazing work that you're doing in the community and in the lives of all of these women, and really just empowering people, you know, a lot of women that you know, we all need it. And so it's nice to know that there's someone there that's back you up.
Exactly. It's a support system. That's exactly what it is.
So thank you so much.
Thank you. This is great.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching and for joining us today in our Savantcast. If you have any comments, please go ahead and comment below. And also, you can also find this video and a lot more goodies at ladysavant.com. If you subscribe as a VIP subscriber, then you're also going to get a little gift from us today. So we will see you next time, and thanks so much for watching. Bye.